Okay, this is before I actually start on showing the process. I'll give a brief explanation on how this ladder works. There are, as you'll see down the bottom here, there are several tabs. This first one is the summary page, which is holding the critical information from each of these other tabs at the bottom, these other pages. For example, we've got our top shooter, which is the person who scored the highest individual card from the week. We also have our top club, which is derived from this club page here. There is a subtotal of the top 5 cumulative scores in each club, and then the highest scoring of those clubs is then entered into here, listed here. The 800 ladder, that's this one here, and how this one works is that out of the 5 weeks that you see listed here, it'll take the top 4, it'll add up the 5 scores and drop the lowest score. So you'll have your top 4 scores for those 5 weeks totaled in here out of 800, and that ladder page here is then sorted according to the highest to lowest. So the person who is at the top has the highest of the 4 weeks. So this is giving a more accurate average result for each person. Over here we've got where this person positioned himself last week on the ladder, and this column here is where he is now, or he or she is positioned this week on the ladder, so we can track the movement of these people as well, the grade and the club that they represent. This one here, the top 10 shooters, this identifies the highest 10 scores, cumulative scores for the week, and where they're from, their club representation, also their grade. And then we have the top scorer, cumulative score of 20 shots from each grade here, which are from these tabs here. Okay, so when we start the week, I get sent to me the scores from the individual clubs. Now we have 3 active clubs in Wanganui, and they're all represented on here, so the club captains or scorekeepers will send me the results each week, and I will then input the individual data from those submissions onto the spreadsheet. But before I can actually do that, I need to set the ladder here so that it doesn't get overwritten. As you'll see from these first 4 weeks that are shown here, you'll see that it's represented as just a text value, whereas on the last one here there is a formula which is looking at the club page where this submitted data is entered. So I don't have to write or type in each score into here one at a time. As I put these scores here on block into that club page, this formula will look up that club page, look that person up on the club page, and enter that data automatically. Now if that person hasn't shot this week, then there's no score to put in, and it will come up with a it will come up with this here saying not available or not applicable. I'm not sure what that means, but that there then stuffs up the cumulative score on the average here. So in order to give a value in here, I have to replace that with a 0, and therefore this formula here will then work, because that's adding these 5 rows and subtracting the smallest. Okay, so now that formula has now, these zeros have been overwritten with the formula, it is now ready to accept the new scores. Actually, I'll just go back a step and put it the way it was, and what I need to do now is copy these last 4 results and paste them a week earlier, so that drops off that week there. But I have to paste these so that it enters the text and numbers only, not formulas. Okay, so now you can see that that is the same as that one, but in this case now it's just a text value, whereas this one here still retains the formula. So now I have to call this week 27, and it's now ready to accept. If I copy the formula down, it's now ready to accept the values from these other input pages. Also, I need to make sure that this will now become last week's results, and make sure that that's numbered from lowest to highest. Okay, so now we can go to the club and enter in some scores. First of all, I'll go to individual and delete all of these here, because that's also reading from the club page, and you notice that as I delete that, everything else disappears, because that is looking up this person's name on the club page, same with his grade, his club, and his results. So we only have to enter those results in once. Okay, so I will now delete all of these scores, leaving the total column, because all that's doing is adding up the sum of these 2 cells here. Right, so first off we'll put Martin in. Now they've got a column in here, B column, which means nothing to me, so I will get rid of that, and now all I have to do is copy their scores, which are sorted in highest to lowest already, so that saved me one little job. So we'll put that in there and paste special. Because he's got different formatting, all I want is the values, and I'll get rid of those there. So that's all in order. So you can see these first 5 are their top 5 shooters, and it has given us their score for the top 5 shooters, and that will be entered into the summary page by comparison with these other 2 as well. So we have to put these other ones in as well. So I'll get rid of that page. We're finished with that now, and I'll now take RSA's results and put those in there, copy, and paste text only. Now, hidden in here is a concatenation of the person's name and the 2 cards that they shot, or 1 if they only shot 1 card. Now this here is what I use to send away to the newspaper for the sports results. These casual and social shooters aren't included in the ladder because that's only for registered paid members of Target Shooting New Zealand. So because this is now overflowing into the next club's data, I'll get rid of this first before I move on. So I'll take this one here. If you want to do this is entirely up to you, but you'll see the formula in here uses the function called concatenate, which adds bits and pieces along here and produces a single cell with all of that data in it that you want. So I'll copy that and enter it into here, and that's going to be also paste special, which isn't on there, but I'll do a keyboard shortcut which will take me down to there. And the newspapers want unformatted text, they don't want any formatting in it at all. So I then, and they also want spaces removed, they don't want empty lines. So we then have to remove the empty lines and put it all one after another, endless. Okay, so that's Martin. Now we want to do RSA and paste special, formatted text only, and do the same there. Now I can get rid of these casual and social entries, and I'll need to drag that down to include their totals as well. Okay, and then finally we want, that's RSA's finished, and then finally we want to enter Westmere's results. So theirs hasn't been sorted in order, so I'll do that first, and there we have theirs now in order, and I'll just take the relevant data. I won't take the total because I've already got that on the sheet, and copy, and in here we'll copy, paste special text and numbers only there, and I'll drag that down to include the totals formula. Now I can enter that one, get rid of that page, finished with it now, and now I can put that one onto here, paste special and unformatted text, and remove empty lines. Save, and now that's ready to send to the newspapers. Okay, so now we've finished with that there. I just go ahead and hide that column, and it won't appear on the final sheet which goes into the website. Okay, so now we want all this information onto the individual shooters page. This is the club's page. Now we want individual shooters, so all I need to do now is copy these individual shooters. So I highlight all of the shooters only, their names, copy and paste, and all their information comes up because it's referencing the club page for all that information. And I need to drag that formula down so it includes those people as well. Okay, so now the ladder has picked up all that information from the club page, And you'll see down here there's a couple of people that didn't shoot this week, so we'll replace those with zeros. And that way the formula in the ladder total will work. So now that we've got all that in there, we now need to sort it. So we'll select all of that and data sort, starting with column G, because that's the 800 average that we want to see first. So we'll sort that one first in descending order, then we'll sort column L, which is the last entry. So this is like a countback system. If there are any ties in here, it will use the highest, most recent score as a countback. And then the next one will be K. And sort descending. Okay. Right, so now that's all been put in order, and we can see a shift here already. So that was last week's position, ranking, and that's this week's. So we'll set that in order. So we can see that this person here had the highest cumulative score over the 5 weeks, 2 weeks in a row. This person was third last week, is now second, and we can see the movement. Okay, so that's that page sorted. The club page is sorted, that doesn't have to have anything else done to it. We will now have a highest scoring club, 957, 971.38, 977. So Martin club has the highest 5 shooters, and that will be noticed in the summary sheet here. Top club Martin with their score, and the 800 ladder is Gary Cuff with his cumulative score, and the top shooter was Graham Simpson, and he shot a 99.06. Now what I need to do is check for duplicates, because it doesn't seem to find a duplicate. So just a quick look at a 99.05, 99.06, that was that one there. And no, there's nothing equal or higher. If there was, then I would need to enter that manually into this row here. Okay, so now I want to enter this individual information onto the graded tabs here. So what I'll do is I'll sort them according to the grade, and that'll make it easier to copy across. So I'll select all of these from the person down to their total score and sort their grade, which is column C, in ascending order, but then we also want them sorted in rank, so we'll go for column G, descending, followed by F, descending. Okay, so we only have one master grader, so I'll copy his name only, which is already in here from last week, and that's been updated with his scores for this week, so we don't have to worry about his. So now we take the A grade shooters and copy into the A grade tab, paste, and I'll drag that formula down so that it picks up his information, and just do a quick check to make sure that there's no ties here. They're all in order, and we now go to the B grade shooters, copy, and paste. And once again, check for ties. 9205. So count back to the next one, 95, 94. So that's still in the correct order. And the rest looks good. So now we're going to go C grade. Select all the C grade shooters. Copy. And paste. And copy those formulas and formatting down to there. Check for ties. No. And finally D grade. Copy and paste. That we can delete because that's relics from last week, and that's all in order. Okay, so these graded tabs are all entered and in order. So now I'll take this individual page and restore it back to its ranked order. Data, sort, column G, descending, followed by column F, descending, and column E, descending. So now that's back in order. Okay, so that's sorted, that is sorted, and the summary page is now reading those top 10 from the top 10 entries of the individual page. That's why it's important to get that individual page back to its ranked order. Okay, and that's it. So as you can see, this is a... oh, I need to edit the date as well. So in this case, it's the week ending, which is a Sunday, and I would change that to the following Sunday. Without having to look it up on a jolly calendar, I can't remember. We'll go for the 7th of October. Okay, and now we can save as, without overwriting the previous week's data. I can save that as week 27, and it will go into can't even remember where I put it. 2018 season indoor. Yeah. Now I'll also save it as HTML, which enables me, which formats it so that it's compatible with a website upload. Okay, so now I can close that, and I will get that page that I've just saved, which is that one there, week 27 HTML, and open with Adobe Dreamweaver. Because there's a little bit of formatting needed to make it compatible with my website. This is all probably seeming quite involved, and there's probably a more automated way of doing this. I have automated it somewhat from when I first started it, so I have made it easy for myself, but there's still a bit of work involved, and somebody with a with a bit of nous, might be able to streamline it even further. Okay, so this is the HTML page as I exported it from Open Office, and that's the way it would appear. So it doesn't really suit our website at the moment. So what I'll do is I will open the ladder page from my website, and also the results page for 2018, and also the template that this data affects when it's updated, and you'll see how that's done shortly. So okay, from our spreadsheet, there's only a portion of this information that I want, not the whole lot. So some of the formatting isn't what I want. So I've got, from this line here, I've become familiar with it and I know where to start. So I look for that line there and drag it all down until I get to this commented line here. Push the shift key and select that, and that will highlight all of that selection. Copy, and now I paste it into my pre-formatted ladder page off the website. And so same area, highlight that line there, drag it down, and that line there with the shift key down, and paste. So I've now overwritten what was already on there, last week's ones. So I'll shift it back up and click somewhere up the top here on that page, and I should see this updated to the 7th of October and all the new data's in there. So that's correct, I'm happy with that. So now I can save that. So I'll just go Command S, and it's saved. So I can get rid of that tab, and I can get rid of that tab. So now on the results page, all I need to do here is change a couple of things on here. So I will put the date that I've done all this, which would be okay, September the 30th, so I'll just change that to 30. That'll be September week 27, and that's it. The references are already in here, targeting the ladder page, and then the template page controls this panel here on all of the other pages. So when I make the change in here showing the latest news, it will update that panel on all the pages that include that on there. And once I've done that, I can then upload all of this up to the remote server. So this is just an example, so I'm not actually going to do that because I'll overwrite the correct information that's already on there. So that's that. Save. Okay, so you can decide how far with this you want to go and how much you're able to do, but that's basically an overview of what I go through each week. So yeah, you can please yourself whether you take it or leave it. There's no copyrights on it. I use a Mac computer, so I find Open Office for myself personally is the easiest to use because that's free for a start. That's always a bonus. Plus Open Office will import Microsoft Excel files, which is what I've done. All these other clubs are sending me stuff that they've produced on Excel. So Open Office is good at receiving those, whereas Excel the other way around won't import Open Office files, so it's a bit one-sided there. So yeah, I just find that works together with the best compatibility. Yeah, so that's it. I hope you've been able to follow that and understand it, but you can have a look through it, and by all means email me, ring me if you have any queries or problems, and I'll be quite happy to go through them with you. Enjoy.